Welcome back, guys. This is the King of Weaves here, and this is What If Naruto Went Rogue Part 2. And this is actually re-recorded. I already recorded 11 minutes. However, I do not believe it's at its top standards. I don't want to upload the part I recorded because I don't believe it's good enough. And so, I am re-recording the video again. And so, this is part 2 again. Take 2. Last time we left off with Naruto actually seeing Tsuki weeping at her parents' at her parents' grave pretty much, since they died at where she was, and of course she was just sobbing while Naruto actually looked on, and of course Tsuki did notice, and in the end they had their little moment, and she saw that Naruto actually was completely different from her. Naruto was he was nowhere near as normal as Tsuki, and yes, Tsuki is pretty much a normal girl who has normal goals, while Naruto's pretty different. Naruto has gone through things that Tsuki cannot even imagine, cannot even fathom or going through. Well, Naruto has, and so Naruto, of course, is much stronger willed than Tsuki. However, he is broken inside. Naruto, of course, was training on his own, and Team 7, of course, were going to have their bell test the next morning with Kakashi. And of course, Naruto wakes up late, as he said he will, and actually heads towards towards their meeting place. Naruto actually arrived after Kakashi as well, and really didn't care. Of course, Kakashi being pretty pissed off, not pissed off, but told Naruto that he should have been here by 8, but Naruto did say that he will be late because he wants to sleep. And now, of course, however, Kakashi didn't have the time for this, and so he said that they will have to continue anyway, even though it's late. And anyways, the two Uchihas were pretty much starving, since they actually came on time. While Naruto had his breakfast, what he could find in his house. Naruto still starving just as much as them, since he has nothing to eat. Like, Naruto is poor. He's poor, and he lives in misery, just like me. But anyway, of course, now Naruto and Team 7 were explaining the bell test, and Naruto points out, so only 2 of us will be passing, huh? And Kakashi says, indeed. So you've noticed the 2 bells. And Naruto says, alright then, we'll see who passes this exam. And he actually looks towards the 2 Uchihas, especially at Tsuki, because he knows that Tsuki is hiding something, and it's a Sharingan, which Sasuke has it, but he doesn't know that he has. Tsuki knows that he has it because she's noticed it on him once she actually woke up before Sasuke from the Genjutsu, and she realized that she had it. She realized that there was something in her eyes, there was some power flowing from it, and she saw Sasuke's one at one Tomoe. Anyways, of course, her one was one Tomoe too, but she trained even harder than Sasuke to unlock the second Tomoe, while Sasuke never even knew he had the Sharingan. She did not help Sasuke, even though they were really close to each other. She tried to help Sasuke unlock it again. However, Sasuke was finding it way too hard because she was the better prodigy out of the two. You could say that they were both prodigies, of course, but Tsuki was more like an Itachi, pretty much. However, that didn't mean that Sasuke would be weak or anything. And anyways, sorry. Wow. While of course Team 7 actually began their test, Naruto actually went towards Kakashi, walking really slowly towards him, while the other two actually hid from Kakashi, of course realizing that Kakashi would not be able to be beaten so easily head on. A head-on fight would not go well for the 2 Uchihas, especially because they know that this guy is strong. He is very strong. Kakashi is pretty much one of the strongest joining in the village. They have heard stories about Kakashi, and they haven't heard about the Sharingan or anything. However, they did look into Kakashi and they realized that since he's a joining team leader, he must be strong. And also, Tsuki actually does know about Kakashi's Sharingan because she's made a bit more in-depth research than Sasuke. However, still, she didn't know what Kakashi's true abilities were, like Kakashi having 1,000 jutsus that he copied. Of course, he was known for to copying jutsus. However, she wasn't aware of him actually copying 1,000 of them. Anyways, of course, now Naruto, who pretty much, well, was still walking towards Kakashi, got pretty close, and Kakashi's like, "Are you really trying to fight me head on?" And Naruto then says, "What else am I trying to do then?" And then he makes two clones, which then they both attack with kunais and shurikens, one's throwing shuriken, one's with the kunai, and Kakashi was able to deflect every single one of them, realizing that Naruto's actually pretty skilled at throwing utility, and he wasn't ready for it. He was ready for it, of course, but he wasn't ready for the next attack. Naruto then actually pulled out his kunai, and the kunai actually started glowing blue. Yes, Naruto actually added lightning release and contained it with wind release, creating a little sword, a lightning sword, embroidered with, yes, embroidered. It's pretty much like stitched up, something that is stitched together. For example, your clothes, they're embroidered, but Naruto's lightning was embroidered into a sword by the wind release, and it was pretty sharp and pretty deadly. Naruto then sliced Kakashi. However, Kakashi was able to barely get away with just a little scratch, and that little scratch was just a wind release. However, it was still pretty strong, and Naruto, of course, wasn't done there. As soon as he sliced, the slice actually created a wind pressure shockwave or something. I'm not sure how to say it, but it created the slice which went onwards into the ground, and of course he cut the ground. He didn't cut literally into the core of the earth, but he cut a big chunk of the ground, creating a pretty big crater looking thing, but more like a slice crater, you know what I mean. I'm sure you've seen it many times in anime, in maybe movies or anything. Anyways, Naruto sliced into the floor, or when you slice into wood, for example, imagine just slice the door, you can see a slice on the wood, something like that, onto the ground. But this slice was different. There was lightning everywhere inside it, which showed that Naruto wasn't playing around. He was going for the win. Well, not the win, but for the bell, and he wasn't going to go easy on Kakashi. Kakashi actually closed his book, realizing that he'd actually have to try by actually adding his own lightning release to the kunai that he was about to use. Otherwise, he would be electrocuted, paralyzed, and Naruto would win the fight. And he does not want to let his team, or his student, win the fight and boost his ego. So he's going to put him back into his place where he has to be. Otherwise, he will get too cocky and just kill himself in the mission. Anyways, of course, Naruto actually having his lightning wind sword on his hand, and that was actually the clone, just a clone, while the real Naruto was just watching what Kakashi would do to the clone. And as he blinked, Kakashi was already in front of the clone, and the clone was destroyed. Kakashi sliced right through the clone before Naruto could even react, realizing that Naruto would have to use a different technique to increase his reaction time, because Kakashi was not playing around. Kakashi was not allowing Naruto to win or take the bells, so Naruto just chuckled a bit, saying, so it wasn't going to be that easy. Naruto then pulled out another kunai, which then he had to win the lightning release to it again. However, Kakashi was right in front of Naruto with his Sharingan, and he was about to put him under a Genjutsu. But then Naruto closed his eyes and then used wind release around him to create a little barrier, like what Broly does. If you watch Dragon Ball and all the movies, Dragon Ball Z, you already know I'm a big fan. If you watch the Broly Return movie, you can see that Broly used like a barrier once he was pushed into the lava by Gohan actually trying to win the fight by pushing Broly into the lava. Of course, he created a barrier around him, And Naruto did the same thing, and you could see it in Vegeta's sacrifice as well. You could see a little bowl of ki around him, but this time Naruto created that, but with wind, which then actually expanded, pushing Kakashi back. Kakashi realizing that Naruto wants to keep his distance for now, and then Naruto made sure that the wind dispelled, and then added lightning release to his own body. Naruto, of course, this actually had its downside. Remember, the human body needs water. It's like the humans are made out of water pretty much. Like our insides are literally all water. We need water to survive, and so Naruto was actually electrocuting himself at the same time as he was using this technique. Of course, this technique can be mastered to an extent where he doesn't electrocute himself and increase his speed, agility, reaction time, everything. However, Naruto has not mastered this technique yet. He's only recently gotten a hand on this technique, and it was really hard for Naruto to actually use. Anyways, of course, Naruto actually using his sword kunai to actually fight Kakashi. Well, Kakashi was actually Kakashi was able to keep up with Naruto, especially because Naruto only increased his reaction time. He cannot increase everything at the same time because he has not mastered the technique yet. Once he masters it, he can increase everything: agility, physical ability, reaction time, everything at the same time, and not hurt his own body while he's using the technique. But right now he can only do one while hurting his body drastically, because this hurts. Naruto was, of course, becoming weaker and weaker by the minute, and of course he was only keeping up the speed and pace because he was actually decreasing his reaction time bit by bit to increase his speed to keep up with Kakashi. Of course, you need speed and reaction time to keep up with someone like Kakashi. Not only reaction time, of course, you can just stand still, have the reaction time to dodge. However, if you don't have the speed to attack, you will not get anywhere. The offense is the best defense in Naruto's eyes for now. Anyways, Naruto wasn't actually trying to go to kill one. He was actually trying to kill Kakashi, but he was only trying to slice off the bell that he needed. Naruto was trying this over and over again. However, Kakashi was always able to dodge and pretty much Ultra Instinct on Naruto's ass. Naruto then actually got kicked by Kakashi's back heel, and was kicked away pretty far. Naruto then created a water wall without using any hand seals, and actually stopped everything that, all the lightning release flowing through his body, and actually used the water to heal himself. Of course, Naruto was still electrocuted, and he was actually electrocuted to the point where he was actually burnt, and so he used the water to actually heal himself, cool down his body. Naruto's body temperature went back to normal, and he looked right in front of him where Kakashi was right in front of him with a menacing look. He was letting out a bit of bloodlust to tell Naruto that he has nowhere else to go. Naruto has lost this fight. However, Naruto then smiles, and actually his eye turns red. Naruto then said, "Do you really think I'm scared of you?" And as he says that, his voice goes a bit deeper, as the Naruto's was actually in sync with Naruto for a second. Naruto's body then turned orange. Naruto was actually using the chakra from the Naruto's, literally stealing it. The Naruto saw this and he was like, "Wait, what?" He was confused. However, yeah, so my dad just walked into me and he's like, "What are you doing? Why are you talking at this time?" And Jesus Christ, my heart disappeared, bro. He sank so deep. Holy shit. Anyways, I might tone down my voice a bit and continue my video. I want to finish this recording, even though this recording would have been around like 30 minutes by now. However, I wanted to restart the video because it was really bad. And anyways, we continue. Jesus Christ. Anyways, as the Naruto was confused, Naruto continued to take chakra from him, and for a split second, he entered KCM, which rendered his body useless after he used it. Naruto was able to blitz Kakashi, take the bell. However, his body was completely gone. Naruto's body is not strong enough. He wasn't strong enough to control this power yet. He couldn't withstand it. And so, once he went back into his normal form, a split second later, Naruto was on one knee and was breathing heavily. He wasn't ready for it. And so Naruto nearly pretty much killed himself there. However, he was able to withstand this thanks to the little training that he kept doing over time, increasing his body, well, his body's durability, physical strength, and in the end, Naruto was able to survive this. However, if Naruto did not train and was able to do this somehow, first of all, Naruto would not have been able to do this if he didn't train in the first place. However, if he was somehow able to do this, Naruto's body would have pretty much failed on him, and Naruto would have died on the spot. However, Naruto passed, and Kakashi actually asked Naruto what just was that. And Naruto then says, "None of your business." Slowly standing back up, then putting the belt in front of Kakashi, actually giving a smile for the first time. This time, it was a pure smile. Naruto was smiling purely because he was happy for the first time in his life. Well, not the first time in his life, but for the first time in a long time. He's 12 now. Last time he pretty much smiled was when he was 4. After that incident, he's never been able to do that again. And I would actually realize that YouTube might be fucking annihilating me soon, since a lot of my videos kind of endanger Naruto when he was a child, and so I'm not going to do that as much, or I'm not going to go in depth about it. I'm just going to say, or vaguely address it and just move on. I don't want to get striked or anything. I don't want to get pretty much annihilated by YouTube. No, thank you. I'm sorry, YouTube. Please don't cancel me. Please just allow me for this once. This rule was just added recently. Allow it. I did it before you guys added this. Anyway, of course, Naruto actually started walking away, and Kakashi said, "Are you not gonna watch your teammates try to fight for the last one?" And Naruto then says, Do you not realize I already know what the bell test is all about, and I only passed because I got the bell?" And Kakashi says, "So you figured that out, and still you wanted to go solo." Of course, Tsuki actually caught onto that and actually realized that this test is about teamwork, especially after seeing what Naruto did. It's pretty much impossible for the two Uchihas to take the bells or to take the last one individually if Kakashi were to try just as hard as he did. Not as hard, because Kakashi wasn't really trying, because he could have put down Naruto from the very beginning, even killed him if he wanted to. Naruto would not stand a chance. For all Naruto, it would be low tier Chunin right now. Anyways, of course, that's because of Naruto's lack of experience, lack of actual combat skill, and of course, the only reason he's Chunin is because of the overpowered technique that he made. I'll call it the Wind Lightning Blade, and also because of Naruto actually being able to use his water release without any hand seals, just like it's magic or something. That just goes to show that he has the ability to do that with other, he might have the ability to do that with other chakra natures, which he has shown when the release, using that barrier looking thing without any hand seals, and making that sword with wind and lightning release, so he can use any of them without having to do any hand seals, which is pretty freaking overpowered if you think about it. Anyways, of course, Naruto actually gets away from this area. However, he actually wants to see how to get into teammates he would do. His two teammates, of course, he's still kind of interested in them, especially about their powers, since they are the last two remaining Uchihas, except for the one who killed the whole entire Uchiha clan, which he actually made some research on, and he found out that it was actually Itachi Uchiha, one of the Uchihas, but he does not know about him being the elder brother of the two Uchihas. Anyways, now, Naruto, from afar, who was actually healing himself with his water. Yes, his water release has the ability to heal. It's actually something more like a Kekkei of his own. However, it's not really strong as of right now, so he needs to train in it. and Naruto has realized that this is a Kikagenkai water that he can summon and control at will without any hand seals. He can do that with even normal water release. However, this one actually heals him. He makes the water around him have properties to heal any wound. Mostly first aid as of right now. Maybe later on it can be used for critical operations, for example, maybe even conquerors, poison. However, this is where Naruto went rogue, so will that really happen? Who knows? Anyways, Naruto actually watched the two Uchihas struggling to get the bells until the timer ran out, which then Tsuki used her last low bits of chakra to actually increase her speed. Yes, actually using the body flicker, taking away the bell. Kakashi actually lost at the last second, letting down his guard, thinking that the two Uchihas has pretty much lost. However, Tsuki took it, and Sasuke was a big distraction and a big help to Tsuki, especially because their teamwork was really good, and them two knew how to work together. However, Naruto's teamwork was completely atrocious, especially because he's more of a solo fighter right now, and he will be. Anyways, now Kakashi congratulates the whole of Team 7 on passing and tells Naruto to come out of hiding, and Naruto says, I was just a little bit interested, and Kakashi saw that Naruto's wounds were pretty much all healed up, and he asks Naruto how he did that, and Naruto then says that there's no need to worry, and this is something between him and himself. Anyways, Kakashi was kind of bummed out because he actually wanted to know, but he just then played it off as maybe it was some kind of band-aid he used or something, or whatever. Anyways, he didn't want to think about it too much, but anyways, he was going to ask Naruto later on, and sorry if you can hear some movement. I am on my bed, and it is literally 1 AM, and I'd rather sleep right now. I could sleep, however, I want to finish this video. Anyways, of course, Naruto and Team 7 passed, and tomorrow would be their first ever mission. Anywho, now Naruto and Team 7 went home as Tsuki actually went towards Naruto. Naruto then asked what does she want, and Tsuki then asked what kind of technique did he use, and Naruto then says, get out of my way, let me go home, I need to rest up, I need to train again tonight. And Tsuki then asks if she can join. Naruto then says, do what you want, it's not like I'm gonna train you, it's not my place, it's not my training ground, I don't own it, and so you can come at any time. However, don't bank on me training you, I won't even have pity on you, and if you get in the way, I swear I won't have any mercy. I really don't care. I don't care if I have to kill you. It's not like it matters. Anyways, now, get out. Tsuki then gets out of the way, and she thinks that maybe Naruto is letting her train with her. However, Naruto is far from that. He does not want Tsuki to do anything with him, because he doesn't want to have anything to do with the village after he leaves, and so he just tries to lay low and just blend in with the crowd. Anyways, and Tsuki is someone completely Tsuki's completely the opposite. She does not blend in. She is actually the one who stands out the most, pretty much, being a prodigy, one of the last surviving Uchihas, and also being really precious to the Leaf Village. Naruto does stand out as well as being the Naruto's Jinchuriki. However, no one really cares about him, so he has the chance to blend in. Now, Naruto and Tsuki have many similarities to each other, and Tsuki has realized that Naruto had no parents. She has no parents now. They went through rough lives, living alone, trying to do their best to blend in. However, Naruto was able to do that, accomplish his goal of blending in, while she really couldn't. However, she didn't really mind at this point, since thanks to that, she actually did get a few useful experiences. However, Naruto is someone that she actually wants to get closer to, especially because Naruto seems very strong and she wants to learn from him. Night night fell. It was around 6 p.m. in the winter. I'm joking. It was around 10 p.m. Naruto actually began his training, taking a long rest, long sleep, a long nap to be honest, because of the amount of chakra he used and nearly breaking his body. And anyways, now Naruto and Tsuki actually met up. Naruto actually arrived to see Tsuki already started training. Naruto then looked away and trained somewhere else. At first he began with meditating, and Naruto's, left in shock after that, was more intrigued by Naruto. In fact, he was excited to see what Naruto could become. It was the first time in his whole entire existence, other than the Sage of Sixth Path, no one else, no one, was able to just willingly take his power without him consenting it, or without him even noticing at first. Once Naruto took enough to go enter KCM is when the Naruto truly was baffled. He was really happy by this, to be honest. It was the first little bit of excitement he got in the past 12 years, and so he laughed, and Naruto heard that laugh, and Naruto said, "Why does the damn fox laugh? Are you trying to laugh at me? Because I nearly broke myself by using your chakra." And then Naruto says, "Well, partially because of that, but more importantly because this is exciting. The first little bit of excitement I got in more than a decade. After the fourth Hokage sealed me inside of you. You were pretty boring. However, today you have shown me there is worth in your life. Otherwise I could have killed you a long time ago. And I'm glad I didn't. I want to see how your life turns out to be. You have been living in misery, and I believe you will always live in this misery if you stay in this village. One little piece of advice: don't trust humanity." And of course, Naruto then says, "I don't trust humanity. I've lost hope in them a long time ago. You could say we're really similar now." And the Naruto then says, "You know nothing. I've seen more than you. I've lived longer than you. I've experienced more than you. You will not understand what I went through due to humanity. You went through small things compared to me." Naruto then says, "I'm sorry, I'm not a million years old, Mr. Old Fox." The Naruto then replies by saying, "Who you calling old?" Naruto then says, You damn geezer." And then the Naruto started walking away, said, "Do you really think you know who you're talking to? You don't understand, do you? Look at me. Does it look like I'm the type of guy to be making jokes around with?" And Naruto then looks back at the Naruto's with his own bloodlust, spewing out himself. Naruto then says, "It doesn't look like I'm the type of guy to be messing around with either. Now, you damned fox." And of course, they have a little bit of a stare off, until the two then look away from each other. Now, Naruto and the Narutos really didn't like each other. However, the Narutos found an interest in Naruto, especially because he thought that Naruto could be fun to play around with, pretty much. Anyways, and of course, now Naruto started walking away and told the Narutos to stay quiet and go to sleep, like a good pet would. And then the Naruto says, "You dare call me a pet. However, if I were out of this cage, you'd be the pet. I'd be controlling your whole entire body, and you'd be struggling to get out of my control." Naruto then says, "Well, that's not happening anytime soon, since you're locked behind that cage. You damned fox. You're just there for me to look at whenever I'm bored. Now stay quiet." The Naruto's actually got a little bit of a shiver once Naruto said that, because Naruto seemed like he had the same amount of bloodlust for humans as he had. But anyways, Naruto then finished his meditation after a full hour of meditating, getting ready to put his body through hell. Tsuki was confused on why Naruto had to meditate for an hour. However, once she saw Naruto train for the next 3 hours, Naruto trains till early in the morning, to then sleep a few hours, to then train harder, even harder the next day. Naruto pretty much makes the most out of his life. He doesn't have long on this earth, he knows that, and so he barely spends any time sleeping, and most of his time training his body, training his mind, to be ready for the outside world, because one day, as soon as he gets a chance, Naruto will not be in this village, but somewhere else, free from the shackles that he's been put on the shackle, free, breaking out of the shackles that were put on him from birth. Anyways, now, Naruto, of course, after finishing his 3-hour fighting himself with a bunch of clones, and they were all using pretty much the wind lightning wind blade, and they were pretty much annihilating Naruto. They couldn't really kill Naruto, since as soon as Naruto was damaged to a certain extent, the clones themselves would just disappear, which meant Naruto could never kill himself with his own clones. Anyways, Naruto, after doing this, it was pretty late. It was around, let me do the maths here. So he started at 10, 11, 12, 13, 2 a.m. 2 a.m. It was 2 a.m. and Tsuki was really tired because she was training just as hard as Naruto. She wasn't really hurting her body as much. However, she saw that Naruto still had energy. However, he's had enough and he needed to sleep. He needs to sleep from 2 to then 7 to wake up, have a run, have a shower, and even do a bit of training before meeting up with the rest. Naruto would have at least 15 minutes to himself to meet up with the rest and have the small breakfast that he usually has. Naruto usually has 1 meal a day and 2 meals a day once every 2 weeks. Naruto only has breakfast to then continue the day until the next breakfast, until the Sunday of the second week, to eat lunch or dinner depending on his mood. Anyways, usually lunch, to make it easy on himself, or because he'd have digested all the food by the time he began his training. Of course, Naruto is actually following a nutritional regimen. Of course, it's not nutritional to eat once for 13 days straight, to then eat twice on the 14th day. It's not good for you, and especially training your body to the max, where it's pretty much on the brink of death. And Naruto heals himself with his water, of course, pretty much giving himself more and more power the next time he comes back. It's pretty much like Zenkai's, abusing it. However, we all know once the muscles are put to the extreme, pushed to failure, the next time they come back, they will become stronger and they will be able to go on for longer, and they will be way stronger than before. It's like push-ups. If you start with 10 push-ups after 2 years of no training, it's going to be hard, but then after a few days it's going to be easier, so you keep putting more and more. You know what I mean? It gets to an extent where push-ups won't do anything to your body because you got so used to it. Your body's used to the regimen that you have. That's why it's good to do different types of exercises every day, or as many times as you can. Not the same one every day, because then like the one punch man training would never work for anyone. I mean, it's good, it can help. However, it really doesn't do the thing, especially for 3 years straight. It would do nothing after like the second month or something, except just hurt your body because you're just doing it too much. Anyways, now, not straining your body for no reason, for no result, or for no reward. Anyways, of course, One Punch Man is an anime. You shouldn't believe everything that you hear in anime. That's like me saying, oh yeah, so if man jumps down a building, dies, the Dragon Ball can just be gathered and bring me back. That's not how it works. Anyways, now, Of course, Naruto wakes up the next morning, and Tsuki was completely baffled on how Naruto could even do this. Of course, Tsuki actually had to do this herself, and actually saw Naruto on the run at 7 a.m. And of course, then saw Naruto actually continuing his daily regimen over and over again. Tsuki actually saw how Naruto never ate, pretty much. She remembers Naruto always leaving when it was lunchtime, and she never really saw him anywhere in the village. However, one day she saw Naruto on the top of the fourth Hokage's stone face. Naruto was just sitting there, meditating. She never seen him eat. This happened for 2 weeks straight. She just kept watching Naruto as he trained near him, and she was confused on how Naruto could even survive like this. However, Naruto has made it into his routine, and he can't really do anything. A regimen, basically. A routine and regimen are pretty much the same thing. Like my eating routine, the regimen that I have to follow today, like the routine I follow. Anyways, yeah, it's basically routine for exercise, maybe medication, the rehabilitation, anything like that. Something that you do regularly, on a regular basis, a routine basically, pretty much the same thing. Anyways, now Naruto, of course, then, no, sorry, Tsuki was actually starting to get pretty concerned about Naruto. Started bringing him food every time they trained. Naruto at first he always declined. However, Tsuki actually one day asked Naruto to spar with her. Naruto then looked at her saying, "Are you assuming that you're on my level by now? Do you really think that little bit of training could bring you to the level of me? No offense, however that training is nothing. You're not doing anything. In fact, I don't see any progress." However, Tsuki has improved a lot. She has improved a lot physically, maybe not mentally yet, because of her lacking the meditation that he does. However, physically, she's made a lot of progress. Of course, she didn't. She also trained the Sharingan by actually keeping on for longer times and using it with different types of jutsus that she learned. And yes, she started seeing scrolls just like Naruto because she saw him doing it and learning jutsus. For example, like the Fire Phoenix Jutsu, the Fire Phoenix Flower Jutsu, and all those things. The Fire Shuriken Jutsu, all like you know what I mean. Anyways, now of course, Naruto actually takes the challenge and looks at Tsuki with a pretty stern look on his face, telling her to get ready, embrace herself for the impact. It was then Naruto. Once, as soon as Tsuki blinked and activated the Sharingan, Naruto was right in front of her and said, "You don't have time to activate your Sharingan peacefully. If this was true war, you would die straight away." Of course, Naruto doesn't truly understand what true war is, but after fighting Kakashi, just in a blink of an eye, he was already in front of Kakashi, well, in front of his clone, sliced his clone already, and he disappeared. Which just goes to show how strong Kakashi was and what it was for him when he was fighting in the front lines or something like that. And so, Naruto has learned that from Kakashi. Of course, no experience yet. However, he was doing the same thing to Tsuki, taking what he learned from Kakashi to teach it to Tsuki. Of course, Tsuki had to adapt to Naruto's fighting style. As soon as Tsuki blinks, Naruto will always be right in front of her, ready to attack. So she could never let her guard down. It doesn't mean she can't like blink or anything. However, she knows not to let her guard down. If she lets her guard down, it could result to her death, because she knows that Naruto has changed over these years from what she used to see. However, now she knows that Naruto is completely different. Naruto is someone who's ruthless, doesn't give a damn about the villagers, doesn't give a damn about his own body, to be honest. Anyways, that is where I'm gonna end off. Cliffhanger. I'm joking. I'm going to finish the fight. The fight ends off with Naruto actually putting a kunai to Tsuki's neck. As soon as she blinks one more time, Naruto actually taking the opportunity, even though her being on guard was pretty much enough to block Naruto from blitzing her every other time. Naruto increased speed a little bit and put her to the ground. It's only been 2 weeks since they graduated. Sasuke has been training and finally unlocked the Sharingan thanks to Tsuki's help. And of course, Naruto and Tsuki have been training. This was the first ever training together. However, Naruto has not changed at all. Naruto, in fact, hates Tsuki even more because of her arrogance and trying to challenge Naruto, who has been training for so long, over and over again, doing multiple different things to become this strong. And she thinks she can beat Naruto. She can actually be on the same level as Naruto as of right now. Even if she just wanted to test herself to see how far she is, she shouldn't have done that quickly. It's only been 2 weeks. Maybe in a month, Naruto wouldn't have really minded. He would have actually took it fairly normally and not pretty much. He didn't, even though Tsuki didn't mean it as an attack towards Naruto. Naruto really took that as a direct attack and is that, nah mate, I'm going to show you that you shouldn't do that and you should train even harder. Anyways, that's what I'm gonna end off. Tsuki finally learned a lesson that she cannot challenge Naruto unless she has concrete proof that she has pretty much mastered every technique that in her arsenal. And none of the techniques are mastered as of right now, except for a few Wujutsu, Phoenix Flower Jutsu, which she was focusing a lot. Naruto then gives her one piece of advice: train, keep training, put your body to the max, put your body to the point of failure to become stronger the next time, and never give up. That's how you become stronger. And what you're doing now is letting your body rest. However, even though rest is good, it's not always too good to rest too much. And as of right now, from what I can see, you rest way too much. You're meant to put your body through hell and then let it rest once it deserves it. It doesn't matter if it's your own body, it has to go through hell just like you'd have to become this strong. You have to put yourself through the max. Anyways, Naruto of course has learned this through the hard way because he nearly died because of him just saying hello. Anyways, now hope you enjoyed it. Please stay safe. This was the King of Weaves there, and don't forget to subscribe to Ratreet, Miniman123, and my friend Hxmesh, also my second channel. All the links in the description below. Follow Shokiro on Instagram, an amazing artist, one of my closest friends. Also follow me on Instagram, and join my Discord server, link in the description below. And also don't forget to get yourself some good quality anime merch from Beautiful Halo, and use the code MEME for 5% off on your next $49 plus order, and code just saying MEME, and for 10% on your next $99 plus order. If you want to go a bit ham, you can get 10% off with the code MEMES, MEMES, and this only works if your orders $99 plus. And the other one, MEME, only works if your order is over $49 plus. So imagine you use 80, you can use the code MEME, MEME, 5% off. But if you use like 120, you can use the code MEMES, MEMES, for 10% off. Anyways, don't forget to go to lamptee.com. Amazing lamps. I'm pretty sure I put like a little unboxing thingy at the start. If I didn't, it's probably going to be the next part, but it has arrived a few days ago, like around a week ago. Yeah, full week ago now. And I will be making like a little segment at the start of the video, of every video, to show you how it looks, and it's really nice. I really enjoy it. You can use the code in the description below, lamptee dash the King of Weaves, how you write lamptee with the L, capital L, AMPTEE, double E by the way, and dash the King of Weaves, how you write on YouTube, you know how you see my name, all capital except for the O and F. Anyways, hope you enjoyed it. Please stay safe. This was the King of Weaves, and good night guys. My love means you're dismissed, and peace.